go to the latest on the Oklahoma beheading. Sergeant Jeremy Lewis from Moore, Oklahoma Police Department joins me by phone. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me ask you this, Sergeant. The murder suspect is now awake. What is the latest that you can tell us?
He actually came out of sedation yesterday. Our detectives were able to question him yesterday afternoon, and he is now technically in custody. He's still in the hospital. We are looking to possibly getting him released early the first of this week, and that's when he will be transported to jail.
Okay, but if you said that you had spoken with him today, or that detectives had spoken with him, what was said?
Yes, yesterday they did conduct an interview with him. Unfortunately, I haven't been giving that information, but that's going to be something in the investigation that I won't be able to release right now.
Well, I didn't think so, Sergeant, but I thought I'd try you. And what about when you say that he might be released and taken to jail? When is he being arraigned? Will the judge come to the hospital, or will the arraignment be held up?
We will present charges to the Cleveland County District Attorney's Office first thing Monday morning, and that's whenever he will he can be arraigned there.
All right, and he's facing charges of murder. Oklahoma, I believe, still has the death penalty, correct?
Yes.
All right, now you're working with the feds on this to determine whether or not this guy is, operating alone, or, based upon what we're hearing, that he was trying to recruit other people into Islam. Is it possible that the feds will take this case from the locals and prosecute it as a federal terrorism case?
Yes, that is possible.
All right. And the second victim, can you tell us how she's doing?
I am actually in the process of getting her latest condition. The last condition I had was she was stable. I have had reports, someone calling that she had been released. I have not gotten that information. Okay. The last information was that she was stable. All
right. Well, we wish her Godspeed. Sergeant Jeremy Lewis, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
And with me now, the founder of the investigative project, Steve Emerson. All right, Steve, welcome. A great night for you to be on Alton Nolan's Facebook page. You've seen it. What does it tell you about him and what his intentions are?
Well, his Facebook page is replete with statements, pictures that emphatically reveal his allegiance to radical Islam, his hatred of the United States, his support of 9/11 attacks, his support of killing Americans, his support of Osama bin Laden. I mean, it's a roadmap to his affiliation and his support to radical Islam. It's proof of the fact that he's a jihadist.
All right. So will you say that he has the markings of a jihadist? Tell us why.
Yes, and let me add a couple of other things here. Not only does the Facebook page prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt, but the fact that his computers that were seized by law enforcement show that the websites he visited also reveal that he was looking at radical websites that were radical Islamic websites calling for the killing of Americans. He was converted in jail to be a radical Muslim. The first step that is done by jihadists to prove afterwards, when they start converting people, which he was doing after he was released from jail, to prove that they can carry out acts of terrorism. So I'm looking at a scenario here. We don't know, let me say, Janine, what actually prompted him to pop. He was fired from his job. We don't know that he was carrying out this beheading as a jihadist, or that he was carrying it out because he was fired, but he carried it out as a jihadist, in a jihadist manner, a decapitation, which is an Islamic way. But this guy was a ticking time bomb, and I am positive in saying this, that if he didn't carry out this attack now, at this point, he would have done it in the future. And there are tens of thousands of others like him lurking outside in the United States who haven't done this, but are jihadists and are just waiting to do it. And that's the problem, because as you know, as a judge, you need a criminal predicate in order to try to charge somebody. Just because they express their support for jihad and willingness to kill, you can't charge them.
Of course
and you can't open up an investigation.
Of course not. But Steve, let me say that it is the intent, it's the circumstances surrounding the crime, both before and after, that give us some sense of what the individual was thinking. And you know, I think for the American people, they're wondering if, you know, if this is the carrying out of a jihadi, a lone wolf carrying out his own jihad, or if this is something bigger than that. But make no mistake, Steve, this guy is, you know, he's in prison and actually tried to escape from detention and did escape. He was charged with assaulting an officer. He just got out of state's prison, and we're going to talk a little later in the show about you know, the radicalization of some of our inmates to Islam based upon what they're learning in prison. But you know, with this case, how do we know whether or not his trying to recruit other people to join Islam is indicative of his being a jihadist?
Well, first of all, there was a CIA and FBI, there were profiles done a couple of years ago about Muslim inmates who are converted to Islam and what they are actually do in prison and what they do after they get out of prison. The first thing they do out of prison in order to prove their loyalty to Islam is to actually try to convert people to Islam, to prove that they are true Muslims. The second thing they do after they prove that is to do other steps. I believe this is going to lead to other people involved, somebody who is running this guy, frankly. Number two, I believe that if we find out that he popped or that he carried out this killing because he was angry about being fired, then if he wasn't fired, he would have carried out something else, a jihadist killing, because he was a radical jihadist that believed in killing Americans. And frankly, Janine, there are tens of thousands of others like him in this country. I have no doubt that we are going to see other things like this, like are going on around the world. We are entering a global jihad. And the fact is, this administration, the Attorney General, the White House, they have banned the use of the term Islamic terrorism. The Attorney General, who's retiring, should be tried on obstruction of justice, because I can tell you, this is not publicly known, he has quashed the indictments of terrorist charges against known terrorist charities because he didn't want to alienate Islamic communities in the U.S.
I wish I had more time, Steve, to talk to you about that. Steve Emerson, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
You're welcome.
All right, and coming up, much more on the